This is the GTN show. Welcome back. And this week we have Lionel Sanders leaving a long-standing sponsor for a brand new bike partner, a virtual turkey trot, a 5-mile run race that sparked a terror incident, and the winner of a Vision Metron 81 SL giveaway. But obviously you will have noticed that I am alone this week, and that's because Heather and Fraser are currently out in Lanzarote filming some fantastic content for the channel.
Yep, we are out here and we've been enjoying a little bit of time on the bikes in the sunshine.
And although you wouldn't think it right now, we have unfortunately managed to find an unusually rainy week on this island of Lanzarote. But as Heather says, the sun's back out now, and we have been getting a little video done about drafting, which you'll see soon.
Well, I am really looking forward to seeing that video from you guys, and I'm also really looking forward to joining you guys out there. My bags are packed and I will be with you tomorrow. And on that note, we have a very exciting and top secret video that will be coming out from Lanzarote in the lead up to Christmas.
Well, we'll see you soon, Mark, but we've actually got a little bit of filming to get on with ourselves, but we will be back later in the show, so keep an eye out.
The first bit of news this week was something that sparked a lot of excitement towards the end of last week, and that was Lionel Sanders riding a Canyon bike. Now, this means that he has left his long-standing bike sponsor, Garno, who he's more or less been with since the start of his professional triathlon career, and stepped over to Canyon. Now, this is really exciting for a couple of reasons, because I'm fairly confident saying that this is a better bike, so potentially faster for him, but also it somewhat puts him on a level playing field with the likes of Patrick Lange and Frodeno, who are, without doubt, his biggest rivals, and they're obviously also riding Canyon. Now, he's got his head wheels on there, and these videos and photos were posted out over the weekend, but this also got me thinking, because it's very similar to Nike. Could we see the top 3 Kona athletes riding a Canyon? Now, this is what we've seen with Nike in marathon running, where Nike have really dominated the scene in the latter years. If we take some of the top marathon events throughout this last year in 2018, like London, Tokyo, Berlin, Boston, Chicago, New York, just those 6 events, if you take the 6 winners from those, 5 of them were wearing Nike. The same for second place, and then third place, you had 3 of them wearing Nike, and mostly all wearing Vaporfly. It's total domination by Nike. Could we see the same with Canyon? Well, our next bit of news is 2016 and 2017 ITU World Triathlon Series champion Flora Duffy is now called Flora Duffy OBE, and this is after her very successful career in triathlon today, and also for her efforts within the triathlon community. Now, this is a quote that has been posted out by the government. It said, "Miss Duffy has earned national and international recognition in the area of triathlon and has established herself as a world-class athlete. She has been recognised for her efforts in increasing national awareness of the sport in Bermuda and for representing her nation with pride." Wow, the Order of the British Empire Award. That's very, very impressive. So congratulations to you, Flora. On Saturday, the Norfolk police had to cordon off part of the Tuesday marketplace in Norfolk after a man reported a man and a lady depositing piles of white powder around the park. Now, the Norfolk Fire Service sent out their hazardous materials specialists amid fears that it may be a chemical terrorist attack. And the Norfolk police were sent in search of a man on a bike and a lady in a red coat. But it wasn't until the Norfolk Hash House Harriers Running Club, and yes, that is their real name, came forward to say, no, that was just some flour and we were marking out our 5-mile run race. So it was completely harmless, and fortunately the 5-mile run race did go ahead. Now then, apologies for talking about Christmas already, but we do all love a Christmas pudding run and a turkey trot. And now, you can get involved in a virtual turkey trot. Yeah, this is the Zwift turkey trot. We have a 1-mile and a 4-mile option, and this is taking place on November the 22nd. Is it a race? No, it's just a nice, fun group workout. Run around with others. There's no podium at the end, but you get to earn yourself some more turkey. Now, they have 2 time options taking place. We have one taking place at 14:05 GMT for the 1-mile and 14:10 GMT for the 4-mile. And then later in the day at 16:05, we have another 1 mile and 16:10 for the 4 mile. Well, now it's a chance for me to root through some of your photos that you've sent in, and with it being indoor week, we've got loads more pain caves. So let's start off with this one from Sebastian in Puerto Rico, and this is his Argon 18 E80 on his turbo trainer. And you'll probably notice the chemical bonds and whatnot behind on the wall, and I believe they are amino acid codes. I don't know whether he's revising on the go and he's got this up on the wall and maybe he changes it as he goes. I don't know. But he's got a lovely little Zwift setup going on. He's got his drinks on a stool beside him, but a very nice little setup there. Very good. Oh, and a little fan between the aero bars. That's ingenious. I've never seen that before. Great idea. Moving down now, we've got one from David, and he has his TTR Columbus up on the wall and a specialized Venge on his turbo trainer. He said, a project I did in my garage while being home with my 1-year-old son. The garage had not been renovated since the 60s, so he had to repair and do some masonry. And you've done a fantastic job. In fact, I'd even say it looks good enough to be a nightclub. This looks fantastic. But yeah, you've got a nice little treadmill there, then the turbo trainer in front, a weights bench, bike rack on the wall, even got a little towel rack. I mean, this is all thought about. This is fantastic. Very cool. Finally, one from Griffin here in Chicago, and he's got his Canyon Speedmax, 2018 Canyon Speedmax on his turbo trainer. He said, my makeshift pain cave with a nice view of the city, with which my dog enjoys. My girlfriend does not, however. But that is a fantastic view, and I can understand why your girlfriend doesn't enjoy it, because your turbo is in the middle of your living room. But I'm sure a lot of us can relate to this, having to pull our bikes out within our living space, in our kitchen and whatnot. But you got a very cute dog there as well. And yeah, very, very nice setup. Now, please do keep sending in your pain caves and any other photos. If you are still swimming open water, you're very lucky, but please do send those photos in using our GTN photo uploader. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I unboxed the very nice Vision Metron 81 SL wheelset. A very nice wheelset indeed. And we have a giveaway to announce. And this one goes to Grant Budd from New Zealand. So congratulations, Grant. We will be in touch with you, and you are getting a brand new set of wheels. Well, now for the race news, and this weekend we had the Phuket Triathlon. In fact, they're celebrating their 25th anniversary, and it's actually quite a unique event. It starts with a 1.8 kilometer swim and then a 50 kilometer bike peppered with some very challenging hills, and then finishing with a 12 kilometer run through the Laguna Resort. And over the years, it's attracted some impressive pro athletes. We've had Jan Frodeno, Craig Alexander, Pauline Newbury-Fraser, Michaeli Jones, and so many more actually winning the event. But this year, it was won by Annabelle Luxford in the women's race and Frederick Cronenberg in the men's race. But it was 5th place finisher Stuart Hayes from Great Britain that really stole the limelight at the awards party.
Oh! You need some help? Keep going, no! Ngắn lời. จะให้แชมป์ไปไหน
The next bit of race news comes from Ironman Arizona, and in the women's race it was Meredith Kessler and Carrie Lester that led the swim out, just separated by a few seconds. But it was Carrie Lester that really shot to the front on the bike and opened up quite a big advantage in the first half, but started to fade in the second half, bringing it down to just 2 minutes between herself and Heather Jackson coming into T2. Heather Jackson continued that form, passing Carrie Lester throughout the run, taking the win. Carrie Lester taking second, and then Jen Annette taking third. But in the men's race, it was quite tight through the swim, with about 7 men coming out of the water together, including the likes of Eniko Lanos and Andreas Dreitz in just over 49 minutes. But it was superbiker Andreas Dreitz that really pushed on the bike. He came into T2 about a minute lead over TJ Tollickson, and then around another 5 minutes to Eniko Lanos. Now the two, Andreas Dreitz and TJ Tollickson, had a real battle on the run for the first half, toing and froing between leading and being second place, but it was Eniko Lanos that was a little bit more patient. He came through in the second half to take the win. In second, it was Clement Alonso McKernan, and in third, it was TJ Tollickson. Well, now let's head over to Ironman 70.3 Xiamen, and in the women's race, it was Imogen Simmons that took the win, in a wire-to-wire win, in fact. Heather Wattell took second place, and in third place, it was Sarah Piano. In the men's race, it was Kevin Collington that led the swim out with 3 other men in close contention, and actually rode the bike in a group of 3, but really powered away on the run to take that win overall. Trevor Wirtel took second, and in third it went to Milos Szewalski. Well, finally, we have Ironman Cozumel, and in the women's race, it was Kelsey Withrow that led the swim out, but Angela Neath, fresh off an 8th place finish at the Ironman World Championships, came back from a 6-minute deficit out of the swim to lead off the bike coming into T2 with a 4-minute advantage on Svenja Toes. But that wasn't quite enough because Svenja just reeled her back in, and by halfway through she had taken the lead. So Svenja Toes took the win, Angela Neath took second, and in third it was Lisa Roberts. In the men's race, we had Ivan Rania leading the swim out with about a 3-minute advantage over the chasers, but we had Michael Weiss heading up the second chase pack with about a 3.5 to 4 minute deficit. But it didn't take him long to get to the front of the race, and he continued that on the run to take the win overall. In second place, we have Samuel Hertzler, and in third, it was Ivan Rania.
Well, we're back, and we thought as we've been out on the bikes, we'd have a little break from cycling, but we'd answer some of your cycling-related questions in this week's Question Time. And Fraser, I think you've got one to start us off.
I do. So Jerry Ignason asks, which is better, being a spinner or a masher, and what's the ideal RPM for maintaining? So it's an interesting question, Jerry, and I'm a firm believer in doing what you personally are comfy with. There's not really a one-size-fits-all approach to cadence. Some people like to turn a bigger gear, which means you've got a slower cadence. And I actually always opted to have a higher RPM that was essentially an easier gear.
Yeah, and I guess also it depends if you're asking from a cycling or a triathlon point of view, because obviously if you're running off the bike, that may then affect your cadence a little bit more as well.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Well, I've got one as well, Fraser, and this one comes in from the video of how to pedal like a pro, and it's sent in by Stephen Jones. Since crashing earlier in the year and injuring my knee, I've noticed that one leg is a bit weaker on the watt bike at the gym. So I've been trying to strengthen up with some strengthening, gym work, and focusing on the watt bike as well as some stretching. Any suggestions to get back to 50-50? Well, Stephen, to start with, I'm guessing you were at 50-50 before you had your accident, but a lot of people, and I know Fraser, you said yourself, you were never at 50-50.
Yeah, rarely.
So don't get too hung up on that one. But the fact that you're doing stretching exercises already, strengthening things, you're definitely doing the right thing in the gym. But if you've had problems once the swelling's died down, it's probably worth going to see a physio or a chiro, because you might have injured yourself further up, your pelvis could be slightly out of line, and that could then be affecting your strength. And also some muscles, when they get trauma to them, will switch off. So you might find, however much stretching you're doing, if the right muscles aren't firing in the right pattern, then you actually need to reactivate those. And again, a physio or a professional will be able to help you with that and give you exercises specifically just to get everything firing, and then you can strengthen it, and hopefully you'll be back to 100% pretty soon. But I actually have one question as well. There were quite a few comments, Fraser, on a video recently in which we witnessed you taking a sandwich out of your tri-suit, having been swimming in the lagoon, and then eating it. Now, I think people are a little confused as to whether or how you managed this. I mean, I witnessed it, so I know that you did this firsthand. Tell me about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still bemused about it, if I'm honest, Heather. But yeah, I did have a sandwich tucked up inside my tri-suit, which I produced upon leaving the water and took a bite out of. Promise you, it's really not something I'd recommend to anybody. Opt for your gels, your bars, sealed food stuffs would be the best way forward.
Well, luckily you're still with us today, so there was no long-term side effects, so it's all good there. But anyway, I think it's time that we moved on to the GTN poll. Well, with it being indoor training week here at GTN, we thought we'd ask you how many hours a week you spend on your indoor trainer. Is it 0 to 1 hours, 1 to 2 hours, 2 to 3, or 4 and more hours. And I don't know about you, Fraser, perhaps your indoor training experience.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from Scotland, Heather, so I've definitely had to spend my fair share of winter months trying to avoid the weather outside. That being said, I am not a huge fan of spending times in the turbo trainer, so I have tried to avoid it as much as I can over the past. But over the last year, I did start becoming a big fan of the Zwift training platform and have used that a lot.
But I guess then you'd be at least 4 or more hours. You'd be ticking option.
I would have been.
Option 4. Well, to enter the poll, make sure you just click on the link above Fraser's head. And now it's time to look at the results from last week's poll. And we asked you, do you have an end of season break? And it was quite a large majority of you who said yes. 75% of people say yes, they have an end of season break, and 25% said no. And I presume, Fraser, your end of season break starts now.
Yeah, still trying to work that one out. But I'm glad to hear that a lot of people do have a break, because it really is a key thing and it really just refreshes everything, mind, body, and allows you to get back into next season's training feeling that much more ready to go.
Yeah, I feel it's very important as well. Time for caption competition, and last week's photo, just looking at it makes me chuckle without even reading your caption suggestions. It is a picture from an Ironman race when the marshals are trying to help this athlete out of their wetsuit, and we've had some great suggestions. I think you've got one to start us off, Fraser.
Yeah, the first one comes from Mikel Ariola, and his caption is, "Come on guys, you only need to pull me for another 69.1, which obviously referring to him having done his 1.2 swim already.
Yeah, well, our next one and our second favourite this week comes from Christian Clausen. "That was not what I meant when I asked for a stripper."
No, wouldn't be, would it?
Quite the same
However,
effect.
our winner today of the caption contest is from Neil Hauser, and this one really did make me laugh quite a lot. He said, I'm not part of the race. Can I have my pants back, please?"
Well done, Neil. You
good.
managed to make Fraser chuckle, and because of that, you are going to be getting a GTN cap sent to you. And now it's time to look at the photo we've got for this week's caption competition, and it is from Ironman Arizona of this finisher who is posing pretty dramatically, but most notably it is his t-shirt, if you look closely, because on first glances it does look like he has an incredible six-pack, and maybe he does, but I want one of those t-shirts. I think that'd be pretty good to borrow.
I mean, I actually just noticed that he was holding on to his Mexican flag.
You mean you didn't notice the six-pack?
Not really.
Well, if you've got some great caption suggestions, do let us know in the comments section below. And sadly, we've actually got to go back to work, Fraser.
Really?
Yeah, I think we'll just have to wait and see Mark when he gets here tomorrow.
Well, thanks for that, guys. I can't wait to join you out there. I'll be there very soon. Now, that is it for the GTN show this week. As I've mentioned already, it is indoor week. So if you want to see all our other videos, you can click on the globe and subscribe. And if you'd like to see how to train indoors for triathlon, or about treadmill running, turbo training, then click just down here. Now, have you ever noticed how much harder it is when you ride indoors on a turbo trainer? If so, then you might be interested in our "Why is indoor training for cycling so much harder" video by clicking just down here.